Good morning, students. Welcome to the session 2 for our unit number 1, that is Introduction to Quantity Surveying. So, in our previous session, we have gone through the definition of the word quantity surveyor, the duties performed by the quantity surveyor. Okay, so what types of the duties that the quantity surveyor has to perform? He has to prepare the bill of quantities. ठीक आहे, आता थोडंसं समजण्यासाठी अवघड जाईल या स्टेजला. What is mean by the word bill of quantities? Okay. Actually, you haven't heard this word before. Okay, what is bill of quantity? See, we are dealing with first measurement sheet, second abstract sheet, and third is nothing but your bill of quantity, POQ. We called it as. So measurement sheet मध्ये आपण नेमकं काय करत असतो? तो मेजरमेंट शीट मध्ये ज्या काही आपल्या क्वांटिटीज असतात ना, त्या क्वांटिटीज डिराईव्ह करतोय. म्हणजे सपोज एक्सकॅव्हेशन आहे, मग एक्सकॅव्हेशन मला किती सॉइल एक्सकॅव्हेट करायची आहे, किती मीटर क्यूबची सॉइल मला एक्सकॅव्हेट करायची आहे, किंवा मला पीसीसी करायचं आहे, मग पीसीसी साठी किती क्वांटिटी लागणार आहे मला, हे जे तुम्ही क्वांटिटी फाइंड आउट करताय. ओके, ती जी क्वांटिटी आपण फाइंड आउट करतो ती एका टॅब्युलर फॉर्मॅटमध्ये आपण पुट करत असतो, स्टँडर्ड फॉर्मॅट, की ज्याला मेजरमेंट शीट असं म्हटलं जातं. ठीक आहे, म्हणजे फक्त पीसीसी साठी सपोज मला 10 मीटर क्यूब कॉन्क्रीट लागतंय. मग हे 10 मीटर क्यूब ही क्वांटिटी आल्यानंतर मला या 10 मीटर क्यूब साठी खर्च किती लागेल, तर हा जो काही खर्च आणि ती जी क्वांटिटी असते, म्हणजे क्वांटिटी आणि त्याचा रेट, एका मीटर क्यूब साठी रेट किती आहे एसएसआर मध्ये दिलेला. एसएसआर इज अ स्टेट शेड्यूल ऑफ रेट्स. तो एसएसआर मी तुम्हाला शिकवेल काय असतो नेमकं तो. ठीक आहे, आणि त्याबद्दल नॉलेज असणं गरजेचंच आहे, हा जर सब्जेक्ट तुम्हाला शिकायचा असेल तर. ठीक आहे, सो मग तो एसएसआर चे रेट टाकताय आणि बिल ऑफ क्वांटिटी ते झालं तुमचं अबस्ट्रॅक्ट शीट. ठीक आहे, म्हणजे फक्त क्वांटिटी आणि त्याचा रेट. तेच तुमच्या बिल ऑफ क्वांटिटी मध्ये काय असतं, ज्यावेळेस तुम्ही टेंडर भरत असता, क्वांटिटी तुम्ही डिराईव्ह केलेली आहे. 10 मीटर क्यूब आलंय, 10 मीटर क्यूब कॉन्क्रीट लागते मला, मग 10 मीटर क्यूबला तुम्ही तुमचा रेट कोट करता. सपोज सध्याचा रेट जर घेताल, एका मीटर क्यूबला जवळपास 5,000 रुपये लागतात. ठीक आहे, मग हे 5,000 गुणिले 10, मग किती होणार आहे तुमचं, तर 50,000 रुपये तुम्हाला कॉन्क्रीटला लागणार. हा तुम्ही तुमचा रेट कोट केलाय, क्वांटिटी तुम्ही डिराईव्ह केली 10 मीटर क्यूब, आणि 10 मीटर क्यूब साठी तुम्ही तुमचा रेट कोट केला, सपोज 5,000 रुपये एका मीटर क्यूबला. मग ज्यावेळेस तुम्ही तुमचा रेट कोट करत असता, दॅट इज युअर बीओक्यू, त्याला म्हटलं जातं बीओक्यू. यामध्ये काय गोष्टी असतात, तर क्वांटिटी आणि तुमचा रेट हा मेन्शन केलेला असतो. ऍबस्ट्रॅक्ट शीट मध्ये क्वांटिटी आणि तो एसएसआर मध्ये दिलेला रेट असतो, आणि मेजरमेंट शीट मध्ये फक्त तुम्ही क्वांटिटी डिराईव्ह केलेली असते. ठीक आहे, ह्या गोष्टींचा आपण आपल्या सेकंड युनिट मध्ये अभ्यास करणार आहोत, काय असतात ह्या गोष्टी. आता तुर्तास या गोष्टी समजून घ्या. आय होप यू आर गेटिंग दिस. ओके. Okay, kindly use English when you address something to us. Okay, I think roll number 56. Yes, I just forget. From your batch, few students, they are not aware of completely about the Marathi language. Okay, dear students, no problem. I will speak in English only. No problem. I'm happy you have conveyed. Okay. So, what is quantity? What is bill of quantity? I'm explaining to you. Measurement sheet. In the measurement sheet, what actually we are going to include, we are just including the quantity which we have derived for any activity. Okay, for PCC, how much quantity of the concrete we require. Okay, that whatever the quantity we have derived, that is been you can show it in your measurement sheet. Okay, now after getting the quantity, suppose for a 1 BHK construction is going on. Okay, 600 square feet area is there. So for the 600 square feet area, how much quantity of plain cement concrete, that is PCC, is required to me? How I am going to calculate? I will take the plan in my hand. I will just check the dimensions, and based by using that dimensions, I will derive the quantity. Using the length, width, and the depth or the height, I am going to derive the quantity. After deriving the quantity, I will multiply that quantity with respect to the rate which is given in your state schedule of rates. It's a one kind of standard book which we have to use in our construction sector. Okay, so what is that book? We called it as state schedule of rates, SSR. Previously it is known with DSR. It was called as DSR, but now we are only using the SSRs, that is state schedule of rates. So what is this SSR? Actually, in this particular book, the activity, suppose excavation, the description of that activity has been there, and the rate, is given in that particular book. Okay, so we are going to take the rate. So quantity multiplied by rate. This particular information we are going to tabulate in one of the format. We called it as the abstract sheet. Quantity we are derived, we are going to put it in the measurement sheet. We are going to multiply the quantity with the rates which are given in the SSR. That table we called it as the abstract sheet, or that sheet we called it as the abstract sheet. And what is bill of quantity? Bill of quantity is that sheet in which we have derived the quantities and we are multiplying that quantity with our rates, because we are going to fill the tender. Okay, so with respect to SSR, we are going to finalize our rates. Okay, it may be plus or minus, it doesn't matter. Okay, and we are going to put that in the sheet. So that is your bill of quantity. Again, the part is there. I will show the tables also. Don't worry about it. If I'm explaining it only theoretically, I will show you the tables also, because you have to use it. We have to work on it. Okay. In our upcoming, I think chapter number 2 is there. First chapter is totally introductory part, purely theoretical. From second chapter, we have to do all the calculations. We have to solve all the projects. Okay, not the problems. We called it as the projects. Okay, we have to derive the quantities. Okay, squaring is one of the part of your taking out the quantity. That is, you're calculating the quantities. Okay, squaring, that is one part. Okay, I hope you got this meaning. Then preparing the bill of part payments or during the intervals or during the your execution of the work. Part payments, suppose payment for some petty works, payment for suppose payment of a JCB. Okay, payment of some laborers, unskilled laborers who have done something on your construction site. Okay, or payment for the machineries, payment for the materials that you have purchased for that particular construction site. So you have to look after all the payments also. It may be the part payment or it may be the full payments. Okay. Then legal advice. So there are so many disputes when the construction activity is going on. For the government projects, you will find there are so many there are some disputes which can happen. Okay. I think my screen is paused. Okay. Just a minute. Now it is visible to everyone. I hope it is visible to everyone. Okay. So whatever the disputes again which are going to occur, तुम्ही बघितलं असेल, अर्धा इंच जमीन सुद्धा आपण सोडत नाही. We are not going to leave half inch of our land. You have seen the quarrels between the two brothers who are fighting for the land in the movies or in your real life also. You are going to see the disputes which are, or the arguments which are happen, which is going to happen between the two persons who are neighborhoods. Issue is related with the land. You have used my half inch of the land. Your compound wall is in my area. Okay, that type of quarrel or that type of disputes or arguments are going to happen. So who is going to resolve such arguments? We civil engineers. We are one of the specialized field of our civil engineer. We called it as arbitrators. Okay, the person who is going to resolve all the disputes. The person who is going to resolve all the disputes. That person we called it as the arbitrator. Okay, and he is nothing but a civil engineer. So again, these quantity surveyors who are experienced engineers, they can give you the legal advice in case of the court proceedings if any disputes are going to happen. Okay, so these are the duties of the quantity surveyor. I hope I have cleared from my side. Still, if you are not satisfied, please unmute yourself and you can discuss with me. Is it clear now, everyone? What are the duties of the quantity surveyors? Roll number 56. Whose number is this? I think A56. Roll number A56. Please put, everyone, please have some habit of writing your roll number at first and then your particular name. In this, again, one more instruction I have to give. Now you are using the roll numbers which I have shared with everyone. Okay, and again, maybe up to tomorrow, I will share one Excel sheet where you have the roll number as well as you have one code number. Okay, from this year we are starting to implement that policy. I will give you your code number also. Okay, we have one system, online system we have prepared, and in that online system your code numbers are generated. So along with your roll numbers, you must be familiar with your code number also. That we call it as RWork code number. RWork is the name of the system. Okay, so maybe tomorrow I will share the all the code numbers of yours with you, everyone. You please note down your code number, and whatever the lectures which are going to happen from onwards, you can put your code number also. Okay. It will take some time to have some practice of it. You will find it little bit, might be you find it difficult at the early stage, but afterwards it will be easy for you to remember your code number. Code number is nothing but the day at which you have done your registration in the institute, the branch you have registered for, and your number in that particular branch. Okay, so that code number again I will share with everyone. Okay, so I hope I have cleared the duties of the quantity survey. Pragati, any doubt in this? Please put some response, yes, no, so that we can proceed further. Okay, chalo. Good. Purpose of estimation. Okay, now you have an, if we expect that you have some offline exam. Okay, if all the things run smoothly and if the pandemic situation gets over very soon, then definitely every year this question they are going to ask you, okay, in your examination. What is the purpose of estimation? Why we have to do so much things? Okay, let us discuss. This question will take your 4 to 6 marks. If you see the ESE papers of some competitive exams, it may be ESE, then I think what can I say, ISC papers, SSC examination, MPSC, UPSC, or any other state government examinations. This question they have asked so many times. Okay, in the mains paper. Huh? What is the purpose of estimation? Why you are doing estimation? Now, estimate. You are familiar with this word. What is estimation? How can we define? It's a process of calculating the quantities. It's a process of calculating the quantities with the help of the drawings. Whatever the dimensions which are there on your drawings, we are going to calculate the quantities. Okay. So that process we called it as estimation. Now, why we are doing so? What is the purpose of doing so? The first purpose is to assess the volume of the work involved in the project. Okay, to assess the volume of the work. मला किती मोठं काम करायचं आहे माझ्या कन्स्ट्रक्शन साइट वरती, ह्याची जर तुम्हाला व्याप्ती, मीन्स how much work I have to do. See, I have to construct a G+5. I know I have to construct a G+5, but I really know how much work it is in, how much work involved in this G+5 structure. That actually how much work is involved, how much volume of the, suppose it may be the soil I have to excavate, how much quantity of the concrete I have to put for construction this G+5, how much steel I require for construction of G+5. Do you know this at the earliest stage? No, you don't know. What you know? I am interested to construct a G+5 structure. Okay, what you know? I'm interested to construct a G+5, but you really don't know how much quantity you require to construct that G+5 structure. So what is the purpose of estimation? The first purpose of the estimation is to assess the volume of the work, okay, which is involved in the project. Now, I think everyone understood this. What is the volume of the work involved? The word which I have used here, okay, to assess or to monitor or to derive the volume of the work. Volume of the work means how much quantity of steel I require, how much quantity of PCC, brickwork, plastering, painting, how much quantity of such activities I require or such elements I require in the project. How many laborers I require? I require 10 skilled laborers, I require 15 unskilled laborers, I require 2 JCBs. How you are going to decide? So for deciding this, you have to prepare the estimate at first. Okay, so that is the first and very important purpose of the word estimation. Okay, to assess the volume of the work involved in the project. I hope you get it. Okay, second purpose is to arrange and organize the material, manpower, equipment, tools, and the plans necessary for the project. If you have the estimate with you, then it will be very easy for you to arrange or to organize materials, manpower, equipment, or the plants or the tools which are required for your project. because you know, sir, I require 100 meter cube of concrete. Huh? So for 100 meter cube, I require 500 bags of cement. Suppose I require 100 brass of coarse aggregate. I require 70 brass of fine aggregate. I require suppose 1000 liters of the water. On which basis you have decided? You have prepared that estimate so that you can arrange and you can organize. Sir, for casting a concrete of suppose 1000 meter cube, I require 50 labor works. I require 50 unskilled labor works. Okay. So to arrange, to organize your material, your manpower, your equipments, or the tools which you are using on your site, that estimation is required. Okay. If you have the estimate with you, then it will be very easy for you to organize all such things. Okay. And along with this estimate, again, I will tell you one important part. You must have the management skill with you, dear students. Though you are technically a superior person, but you must have the management skill with you. Okay. If you have, you can manage all the things while working on the site. Then what is the purpose of estimate? Why it is required? Very important purpose been mentioned. Third purpose, to fix the project completion period. Very important. Huh? If you are given the word to some person, we are using the quotation as giving the word. That is, you have given assurance to your customer, sir, you have given us the project. I will complete your project within 6 months. Suppose I'm going to start your project on 1st of January. I will complete it on the 30th of June or 1st of June. So whatever the span you are mentioning in your contract, you have to follow that deadline. Okay. And that is very important to create your name or to create the buzz in the particular construction sector. Okay. So to fix the project completion period, you must have the estimate with you. If you have the estimate, you have the idea. Yes, sir, this much of work is there. This is the actual volume of my work. So accordingly, you are going to plan all the manpower, material, equipments, and all that. And if you manage it very nicely, correctly, and sincerely, then definitely you will complete your project within the deadline. Okay. And in the market, dear students, please remember, if you have given the word to your customer, you have to follow it. Otherwise, you are going to lose your fame in the market if you are not following the deadlines. That customer will complain. No, that contractor, he tell me that he will complete my work in 6 months and he has taken 8 months or he has taken 1 year to complete that activity. So he has not followed the deadline. So what actually he is going to do? He is going to decrease your fame in the market. Okay. So following the deadline in the market is very important. Okay. Otherwise, if you have any different thoughts on this, don't follow. Please follow the deadlines. Please complete your work on time only. Okay, so that is the next purpose of the estimation. Then next purpose is to ascertain the fund required for completing the purpose of the particular construction activity. Okay, to ascertain the fund, you have the estimate. Okay, and based on that, you can ascertain or you can determine actually the cost involved in your construction activity. You have taken the project. Okay, you have taken the project, you have derived the quantities. After deriving the quantities, you will come to know, sir, for this project, I require 10 lakh rupees. I require 15 lakh rupees. You can include your profit also, contractor profit. As per the rules, we have to consider, we have to add mandatorily, we have to add 10% of the contractor's profit in our estimate. Okay, so dear students, you just imagine now. Okay, the word which I have used in my first session of the technical training. We don't have the scheme like packages like, sir, 4 lakh per year, that package I have because your friends are having in computer or other branches. Okay, 6 lakh package I'm having, 8 lakh, 10 lakhs. We don't have such package concept in our sector. Huh? Well, we must be proud of. We have, our starting is very slow, 10,000 per month, 15,000 per month. But if you start your own business or if you go ahead after gaining the experience, you will find it. If you have taken one project on your own, you have started your own construction sector, you just imagine for every project, at least you are considering 10% profit. I'm telling at least. Okay. So if you have taken a project of 30 lakh rupees, you can complete that project, or out of that 30 lakh, at least 3 lakh minimum profit you are getting. Okay. And if you go in detail, you will come to know how much profit you are getting, whether it is restricted to 10% only, or it is more than that. Okay. And you definitely are going to tell me after 3-4 years, okay, when you complete your job, after maybe it might be after 2 years or 3 years, then you realize, sir, the concept of package is not with us. We have so much of profit involved in our construction sector. Okay. Then that is why this estimate is required. If you have the estimate with you, you can ascertain the fund. You can manage, yes, sir, for this project, I require 50 lakh of rupees. How you have decided I require 50 lakh? You have the estimate with you. Okay. Then to justify the investment from the cost benefit ratio. If you have the estimate with you, you can justify the investment. Whatever the investment that customer, that company has involved, okay, for that project, you can give the justification for that estimate. And dear student, please remember our construction sector rule. I will highlight it. Our construction sector rule says the benefit by cost ratio, or the cost benefit ratio, must be greater than 1 only. Okay. Must be greater than 1 only. Okay. That means if you are getting, if you are completed the work of 10 rupees, so in that 10 rupees, okay, and the project cost is suppose 11, whatever it may be, 1 rupees, 2 rupees, 3 rupees, but the benefit that you are getting, must be greater than 1. Okay. That means our sector, at no point it is going to, what can I say, at the decreasing stage. Okay. It is always on the high stage. Then next purpose of the estimate is to invite the tenders and preparing the bill of quantities. Okay, I will not focus more on this. We have already discussed in detail. To invite the tenders, you have the estimation. Okay, if you are interested to fill any tender, on which basis you are going to fill, you have the estimate with you. If you have the estimate with you, then and then only you can fill the tender. Huh? Okay. Then to obtain the necessary administrative approval, necessary technical sanctions, arrangement and allocation of the funds. Very important to obtain these two things: administrative approval and technical sanction. These are the two different things. Huh? Administrative approval, it's a, what can I say, formal acceptance of your project in the government sector. And technically sanction, it's a, what can I say, legally they have checked your drawings, they have checked your estimate, and they found it is correct. If they found your drawings are correct, it is with respect to the rules and regulations, you have prepared the correct estimate for your project, then they will give you the sanction. Okay, that we called it as the technical sanction. So there is difference between these two words. Administrative approval, it's a formal acceptance of your project. Okay, you have submitted, yes sir, I'm interested to submit tender for this work. Okay, so if they are accepting your particular tender, just accepting, that is we call it as administrative approval, formal acceptance of your tender or project. And technical sanction, somebody voice is disturbed. Okay. And technical sanction, they are going to check your drawings, they are going to check the estimate that you have prepared, and they will approve it. Yes, you have prepared it correct, we will sanction your plan, we will sanction the estimate. Okay. So for doing this, you require the estimate with you, and the correct estimate with you, not only preparing the estimate, but correct estimate you require. Okay. Then valuation for the existing property. This is mandatory part. If you want to do the valuation, estimate is the only thing that you require. Okay. Without you having the estimation with you, how can you do the valuation of any project? No, it is not possible. For doing the valuation, you must have the estimation with you. You must have the knowledge of the local site conditions, the development which is incurred in the surrounding area. Okay, what type of development is going on? You must be familiar with the local site conditions. Okay, then you can go with the valuation of the existing property. So these are the purpose of the estimation. Okay, I hope everyone is getting, everyone has understood it very well. If you have any doubt, please unmute yourself and you can ask me. Okay, everyone is getting this part. Purpose of the word estimate. You can take the snapshot of it in your mobile. And again, I said earlier, everything we are going to share with you. If you are not writing, don't worry. These PPTs are with you. Okay. So shall we proceed ahead? Shall we proceed ahead, dear students? Yes, no, understood, not understood. Respond fast. Yes, sir. Okay. Sure. Yes. Site conditions which are going to affect the overall cost. Okay. Now this is some additional part which I have introduced in this presentation. Okay. What are the different site conditions that affect your overall cost of the project? Okay, there are so many factors which are going to affect the overall cost of your project. First is nothing but each type of work requires different method of construction. Correct? Everyone, I think everyone will agree with me. For each type of construction, there are so many methods of construction. For each type of work, we are going to follow different methods. Construction may be of ordinary house or office, or it might be of your dam, tunnel, multi-storied building, airport, bridges, roadways, railways, etc., etc. So for every type of work, we have the different methods of construction. It is not possible for you to follow the design philosophy which you have used in the road construction and the same philosophy you are using it for the building. No, the regulations or the rules are changed. The specifications are changed. The requirements of the material are changed. Suppose you are going to construct the runway for the airport, correct? Can you build the same runway for your local road? Can you build the structure as like of your runway on your roads, on your village, in your village? No, not possible. Why? Because on the airport, the requirements are different. And based on our requirement, we are constructing the runway. Because the tire friction we have to consider for the air, whatever the aircraft which is landing, and it is going to have some frictional movement with respect to your road surface. So the conditions are different. Correct? Here on the local roads, you some vehicles are playing. It may be two-wheeler, three-wheeler, four-wheeler. Again, the frictional movement is different. Correct? So requirements are different. You are not going to use the same concrete which you are using in a dam. That same concrete you are using in the house. It might be different because your requirements, your conditions are totally different. Okay. So what I'm going to suggest you, how it is going to affect the overall cost, your site conditions. Okay, the type of structure that you are interested to construct. It may be the tunnel, dam, multi-storied building, bridges, airport, runway, etc., etc. Okay, I hope everyone is going to agree with me. Second, the quality of the labor and the labor output varies with different localities. It is totally dependent on the mentality that the labor they are having. Okay, with them. So the quality of the labor and the labor output varies with different localities. Definitely, we have so many local conditions, different local conditions. We have Marathwada region, we have Vidarbha region, we have South Maharashtra, we have different states, other states. It may be Karnataka, Kerala, Delhi, Mumbai, Kolkata. Okay, so different locations, different people, different types of workers we are having, and they are having their own mentality or different mindset. Then that is why the quality of the labors and the output of the labors, the output that we are getting, it is going to vary with respect to the different localities. Okay, it depends on the site conditions, it depends on other conditions also. Okay, then weather conditions greatly affects the output, hence the overall cost. Okay, again it is the responsible factor. You have everything with you, but whether you have the control on your weather, no, we don't have any control on our weather. Okay, so weather conditions, they are going to affect greatly at a greater extent to our construction sector. Okay, it might be some maybe suppose you are doing some construction in the Konkan region, maybe from June to September, you will suffer a lot because there are heavy rainstorm is going to occur over there. Or suppose you are doing your construction activities in the northern part of India, it might be your Himachal Pradesh and upper part, okay, Jammu, Kashmir and all about it. Okay, so there is heavy rainfall, heavy snowfall is there. Okay, so the conditions are different. So according to the conditions, site conditions, we have to vary our labor source, we have to vary our materials, equipments, everything. So weather conditions will definitely affect your output of your construction project. Next is ground conditions will vary and change the method of construction. Okay, what is the example for this ground condition? It may be the dry soil you are having, wet soil, soft murum, hard murum, any type of soil. Okay, because soil condition, whether it will remain same throughout the India? No. In Maharashtra, we are having different soil conditions. In Karnataka, we are having the different soil conditions. So again, it will affect your overall cost of the project. Okay, because if you have the hard strata at a lower depth, definitely you are going to save some money. But if you have the hard strata at a very lower depth, okay, sorry, at a very greater depth, again you require more money. You are going for the pile foundation, boards, necessitating the extensive watching, lightning, controlling efforts. Where you are going to construct that particular activity. Okay, because if you are interested to construct a bridge in the heart of the city, in the congested area, you have to arrange everything. No any person will fall down in the whatever the excavated area which you have dig. Okay, so we have to follow some rules and regulations. We have to follow some different methodology for the construction for such works. Okay, so again, the location of your site, it matters a lot. It will affect the overall cost. Whether it is in the congested area of the city, whether it is in the open land away from the city, we are having plenty of open land available, or it is in the busy streets of your particular area. Okay, then source of availability of a sufficient supply of the materials of good quality also is a good factor. Okay, again it will affect the source of availability of the local material, whether you are getting it locally or you have to purchase it from a longer distance. See, previously in my technical session, I have told you the concept of lead and lift. Okay, so it is going to play a vital role in affecting the overall cost of the project. Okay, if the distance is more, definitely the project cost is going to increase. Okay, you have to excavate the material and you have to unload that material at a longer distance. The cost of construction will definitely going to be raised. The availability of the construction machineries also affects the method of construction. Access to the site must be reasonable. If the access is poor, the temporary road you have to construct. Okay. So you are going in deep in one of the jungle area, okay, forest area, and there you have to construct. There are no roads. There is no access to reach to the site. So you have to build some temporary roads over there. And if you are going to do that, definitely it will increase your cost of construction. So some site conditions we are discussing. Okay, then I think this is all about the site conditions which will affect the overall cost. I think, hope you understood it very well. Okay, if any doubt, you can unmute yourself. Anything you want to say on this? Any doubt? Roll number 56. Can I get your name, Mr. Roll number 56? Everyone, please put the habit of putting your name followed by or after your roll number. Huh? Okay. Okay, so this is all about the site conditions. Then next we will discuss the essential qualities of a good estimator. Okay, हे एस्टिमेटर होणार किंवा जे क्वांटिटी सर्वेअर्स असतात किंवा जे बिलिंग इंजिनियर्स जे म्हणतात तुम्ही साइट वरती. Okay, so what qualities he has to be here for being recognized as a good estimator. Okay, so a good estimator for the of a construction cost should possess the following capabilities. Okay, but he must have a knowledge of all details about the construction work. whatever the construction work going to happen, he must have the knowledge about the details of the construction work. Then experience in the construction work. If you want to become a good estimator, you have to you must have the good experience with you. Okay, having the information regarding the material required, machineries needed, overhead problems, and the cost of all kinds. Please read it. It is very easy to understand. What qualities you have to hear. Somebody's voice is disturbing me. Aniket, please mute yourself. Everyone during the lecture, please mute yourself. If you have any doubt with you, then only you please unmute yourself. Okay. So having the information regarding the materials required, machineries needed, overhead problems, and the cost of all kinds. Okay. If you want to become a good estimator, then you must have the good judgment with regards to the different localities, different jobs, and different workmanships. Okay. You must have the good judgment. Okay. Management skill about the different local site conditions or the jobs or the different workmanship. Workmanship means maybe availability of the skilled laborers, unskilled laborers, and all that. Okay. Then selection of the good method for preparing an estimate. See, there are so many methods to prepare the estimate. Okay. So which one will be the best one? Which one will suit a lot to our construction site? You have to select the proper method. Okay. तुमचं काम जे आहे हे प्रिसाइज असलं पाहिजे. व्हेरी प्रिसाइज वर्क यू हॅव टू डू. प्रिसाइज मीन्स मुद्देसूद. ठीक आहे. युअर वर्क शुड बी इन लाईन. it should be aligned every day. Okay, every project you have to align in one of the sequence. Okay, so if you want to become a good estimator, you must be hardworking. You must be very much careful. What, in what sense we have to be careful, sir? I'm able to read the drawings. Based on the reading the drawings, I have understood it very well, and now I can execute. You must be very careful when you are working on the site. Safety is one of the part. Okay, do you know on every construction site, big projects, there is one safety engineer. Okay, who has wear the green helmet on his head, and that person we recognize as our safety engineer. Okay, so he's every day he's going to give some instructions